Hey guys, welcome to a Bromance Wargaming bat rep. This is a 3,000 point doubles tournament. Haven't figured out all the ins and outs of the new program I'm using to record this, so I apologize for the choppiness and whatnot. But it's between Dallas and myself, Jody. It's a, like I said, doubles tournament, 2v2. I'm playing High Elves and Deamons. He's playing Lizards and Bretonian, and I'm going to try to make this quick so I can get through all the slides because they're kind of going without my consent. So on the left we have Great Eagle, so Reavers vanguarded. We have two skull cannons. Those two small units are units of 7 swordmasters each. To the right there we have some dragon princes with the BSB, and the left side the one are rerollable. Then below them some beasts or Nurgle. Those are the things with the angel wings. And then here the next slide will show some more stuff in just a second. So on the right, excuse me, I have, starting from the far right, 2 units of 9 white lions, some reavers in front of them, and then 27 plague bearers. Behind them are some archers. The archers have a level 4 high magic, and the plague bearers have 2 heralds of Nurgle. One's a BSB and one's a level 2 with lore of Nurgle. Excuse me again. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So for the next slide, is kind of the same picture as what it was before. But the doubles tournament is actually a Bromance Wargaming tournament that we're going to be hopefully playing here in August. If we can get everyone established and get everything worked out, which I think will be okay. So Dallas and I are trying to test out some of the scenarios for it so we can make sure everything plays smoothly and nothing is good or bad, or just how whatever ends up being, it ends up being. But we wanted to test it out. The building in the middle is actually a volcano. It doesn't come into play the whole game, and because of the way this new program is doing the recording, I don't really want to spend too much time focusing on it. But here coming up, we're going to be able to see Dallas's Bretonian and Lizardmen army. Kind of got the short end of the straw. We did it random pairings, and he ended up playing this matchup, unfortunately. So on his table on the right, he's got some pterodons. He's got 2 units of 10 skink skirmishers. Between them is a cohort of 15 skinks. And then on the left, you can see he's got some knights of the realm. I believe they have full command. And then he had vanguarded the pterodons up. I was actually kind of glad to see the pterodons. It's not something people use often. But all those skinks, I didn't know how I was going to deal with them. With poison shots. Starting from the left, he's got 2 units of 5 camo skinks. Behind them, another unit of regular skinks. Behind that, trebuchet. To the right, his character bus with his Brets. Got a BSB and a general, both one are rerollable. Then he's got a level 2 beast. Some more skinks. Behind those other skinks is some peg knights, some yeomen that look like reavers, another trebuchet, and then his temple guard with a level 4, of course, Slan, and he's also got a Scarvet in there as well, 2 of rerollable. I, of course, get first turn, move up like this. You can see the dice in front of the pterodons and one of the knights. That's from what happened during the magic phase. That from the Deamons, ends up doing some pretty significant damage, but nothing huge. I just rolled a lot of 6s. Move my reavers up, trying to get into his backfield. Hopefully he'll walk between worlds to get in there. We'll see what happens. And this is just movement on the left side. I was hoping to get my Swordmaster position so when he charged in, hoping that he would, I would have him overrun or reform in such a way that I wouldn't have to worry about them or at least a turn. But of course then I pulled the skull cannons right there, and that's just, I don't know why I put them there. That was bad on my part. It didn't really hurt me too bad, luckily. On the left, I was hoping to have my eagle hide so I can get in the backfield. That was just a bad idea as well. My reavers in front there. So this next picture is just to show that that 6 on the pterodons did end up plucking a wound through. I forget what it was. It was either like D6 plus 3 strength 3 hits, or it may have been the leadership test and you take wounds accordingly. I forget exactly what it was, but either way, it did a wound. Nothing huge, but I mean, a wound's a wound, so always nice to get a couple off if you can. Over on the left, this is a picture after my magic. You can see I walk between worlds, my reavers, which end up being fruitless because now that I think about it, I don't know why he's just going to turn around with the skinks and shoot him. Over on the left, you can see where there's a little wound marker by a Scarvet. I was able to do the High Elf spell where I took a wound off of him, got rid of his Dawn Stone. So that was actually very, very fortunate for my magic phase. Here you can see this after my shooting. Yeoman and those 2 wounds from the Yeoman are actually from the magic effect from the Demons. But as you can see there's no more Trebuchet. That's because one of those Skull Cannons got lucky and killed the Trebuchet right out and also did a wound to the Archer. So that was fortunate. That's pretty much everything that happened in my shooting phase. Nothing else. I think my other Skull Cannon missed. That's why I had to take 2 shots there. I actually don't remember why those 3 Swordmasters died. I think because this is his turn when he charged in, so I think he did some magic to them and killed them like that. I really can't remember. It may have been a Trebuchet. You know, it may have been a Trebuchet shot that scattered and killed 3 of them. Don't exactly remember. And then you can see the balloon from Dangerous Terrain. One of those guys is gone. On the left there, he charged his Peg Knights into my Reavers and moved up as such. Seeing this, I realized, oh, he's going to overrun into my Eagle, and that was just a bad mistake for me to put my Eagle right there. Could have been a little better with my movement. In the end, it's not going to hurt me too bad, but still it was just poor placement. My head really wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't in the game like I should have been strategically. I just was kind of moving stuff around the board, I felt like. But we'll see what happens. So he moves up his 3 Yeomen in front of my BSB unit. I think some of the pictures are out of turn because you can see the 3 Swordmasters are still there. It hadn't yet taken damage. But he also moved his Temple Guard up a little bit. And this was good movement by his part. He was thinking ahead. My movement, I really didn't think much ahead, but he did some good planning here because of this advantage. I actually think this shot is only to reflect that he took a wound in Dangerous Terrain when he went through the river on the charge, or the swamp on the charge. And just kind of shows a little foreshadowing where his skinks are positioned right there. Is something that I seem to forget later on, which is pretty critical in a few minutes. But again, I think this picture is just to indicate it's a good Dangerous Terrain and valid. On the right, when he moved up, he moved his Pterodons over my white lines, did a couple wounds with the rocks, and otherwise positioned as such, which I was fine with. I passed some armor saves, which was good, and I figured that my archers should be able to position, if not take them out, do a bunch of wounds to them my next turn. So we'll see how that plan of mine shapes up. Over here, he just repositions his skinks to shoot my reavers, which, I mean, I thought it was going to be a great plan. I really should have walked between worlds at 20 inches instead of 10. Tried to at least to get them farther away and behind stuff, or really just not put my reavers there and something else with them. I mean, it distracts those skinks, but in the end, I'm not really too worried about skinks against that right flank. As expected, he destroyed my reavers. I didn't get a wound off on him, overrunning my eagle. This was me just throwing points at him. I mean, it's only like 120, but still 130, but that's still points. I mean, I'm not really scared of the Peg Knights with anything on the left side. So I don't know why I positioned my stuff there. I didn't even really see the charge. For some reason, I guess forgot that they could fly. But that happens. Here, as you can see, obviously he overran into the other Swordmasters. I think I did 1 wound to him with a few that were left. And I actually don't mind, though. I mean, you know, those Swordmasters with all their attacks, you know, I'm hoping I'll get a couple wounds off. And then when he overruns again, it should put him kind of out of the way, or at least my Skull Cannon can maybe do a counter charge or something. I haven't decided yet. here just shows that I don't think he actually killed them to a man. I'm pretty sure he killed 3 of them, and then I panicked off the board because without the reroll, I just never ever can make leadership 8 checks. So again, just kind of threw some points his way. Got the skinks out of the way for a turn, but that's not, in my mind, really worth 80 points considering what I have on the right side of the board. But hey, live and learn, make mistakes. We all do it. This is to show where my 1 skull cannon was, the painted one. His remaining trebuchet just did a direct hit, and I think he did like 5 wounds, and I failed all of my ward saves. So he got rid of it right off the bat, which kudos to him for plucking that out. And I killed 1, he killed 1, so right now we're even as far as shooting. Here's just to show, okay, this actually, I wish I could pause, I gotta make this quick. My skull cannon during my turn ran into his camo skinks, destroyed them all, overran into his other unit of camo skinks. As you can tell, his peg knights easily killed my eagle, reformed to face my rear, and now come to play during his turn. But that's just to show what my skull cannon had ended up doing. Over the next picture here, he failed to kill all my swordmasters, and I got away. I did, as you can see, do like 2 to 3 wounds to him. That was kind of surprising. And this was actually my turn, of course, because of the overrun of the cannon and everything. You can see. My dragon princes made quick work of the few yeomen left, and I positioned them right there, thinking, oh, I'll just flee when he charges me, pop out behind the beast, and be okay. Over on the right-hand side, my archers do what they expected to do. Did enough wounds, made him panic, and he fled off the board because he popped out through the instrument and rolled like an 11. So that was nice, getting those out of the way right off the bat. Otherwise, I just kind of moved up, hoping that he would charge his other knights into my white lions, and then I get a flank charge. Hopefully, they didn't wipe out all 9 of them. So we'll see how that plan goes. Excuse me. Okay, so during his turn, he charged his skinks into my flank, and then his knights into the other unit. He killed all but 2 of the white lions with the knights, and then reformed like this, so that I get less of a flank. I think that was smart. He lost a couple ranks, but he wasn't really gonna. Right now, he was looking at keeping many bodies on the board as possible, and hoping to make a leadership check to stick around. There's no way he could have been steadfast. Otherwise, he failed to break me with other white lions, and I reformed. Okay, coming back over here on the left. I made quick work because I overran impact hits of his camo skinks. Got all that juicy combat res. Then he lost combat, fled, and we had a rules question come up where because he fled, I thought I could overrun, but we weren't positive, so we 4-upped it, and I didn't get what I wanted, so I ended up just pursuing the peg knight. We're pretty sure I should have been able to overrun there. So I fled as expected, like I wanted to with my BSB's unit, but I was a fool because that skink unit that I mentioned before was now in range still of my BSB's unit. So he charged the temples, I fled. He charged with the skinks, I had to flee again. And then, of course, I was in his front arc with his character bus, so he charged and fled me off the table. That was just really poor on my part. I don't know why I didn't see that, but hey, whatever. This is, I'm pretty sure, I think he may have blown himself up. I may have killed him. This may actually be the start of my turn. It is the start of my turn. Start of my turn, during my shooting, I blew him up. I don't have a picture really to indicate the other movement that it is, I apologize. But I shot my cannon through him. Charged my beast into his temple guard. That's going to go well. Got off Hand of Glory, and I think the 3+ regen, or maybe I got the 5+ poison. I can't really tell from the picture which one. But either way, all those beasts into him should do well. As you can see, he did already have a beast gone. I think he did it from shooting magic. Wasn't too huge, but I'm looking forward to that combat. They're stubborn, but after a couple rounds, I should be able to take them out. This is turn 2, by the way. So next picture over here on the right, I get my flank charge into his knights. There are some spells. I think he's got wild form on there. I didn't really mention it before because it doesn't really matter that he had wild form on. It was a good call in anticipation of the flank charge, but in the end, all the static combat res I have is what's going to beat him anyways. And then my white lions up there, just as before stated, sticking around against the skinks, so I'm actually happy about that. I shoot some stuff with the archers, but nothing too huge. My swordmasters on the left rally, so that was nice. They just kind of stay there out of the charge arc. My hope is if he ends up moving them, I can get a rear charge, do a couple wounds, and hold them up. I don't know. Not the greatest plan. I might just move them and not lose the points, but he's got skinks, so we'll see what happens with those. They don't really come back into play, I don't think. But alright, after combat, you can see his Temple Guard just completely depleted. I did a ton of wounds. I think he did like 10 or 11 wounds. He did like 1 or 2 to me. That combat's just not going to go well for him. He's got his skinks positioned. He's going to try to shoot off my skull cannon. I don't remember if I think he does end up killing it. But I have like 2 or 3 wounds left on that side. But this is top of 3. You can see where I killed a bunch of his knights. He fled with his skinks, actually, as I would beat him in combat with my white lions, so his skinks fled as well. Again, top of 3, so I'm feeling confident that if we can keep going, I should be able to finish wiping up the points on the right side of the board, should be able to get a salon, and hopefully I can turn around and start going after his character bus. After combat here, he's able to get some spells off to make it harder for me to hit, which pretty much the only thing that's getting through is poison, which I'm fine. He's got like 4 left in his salon, so starting next turn, the only thing that should be left is the salon. He'll still be stubborn, but 2 more rounds of combat, and I think I'm going to be okay. He repositions his skinks to start shooting at my skull cannon on the left. I actually don't remember if he kills it or not. Not too many pictures left. This is bottom of 3, and I think there's only like 1 picture left after this. He flees off the table with his other knights. He rallies his skinks, but it doesn't matter. So because we're not going to finish, we're not going to continue. We're going to end it at 3. Just because it's late and we've already been playing for a few hours, the game, we're pretty confident it's going to be over. I should be able to mop up some points and just kind of go from there. This is just another picture of my archers, where they're positioned and with the other skinks, so they should be able to shoot and get some points there. And like I said, we ended up calling it. The volcano doesn't really play any effect, so I didn't really mention it. The game ended as a tie where we called it at the bottom of 3, 1370 to 1322, but it was pretty clear if we would have kept going, it would have been a victory for Daemons and High Elves. Just a bad matchup for a Wizard event. All in all, it was a fun game. I made some mistakes, but it happens. So what can you do? I'm going to end it here because the time is running short, and hopefully I can spend some more time figuring out the program. Later, guys.